So guys, I want to share with you some value about YouTube and generating leads from YouTube. I first want to start by sharing with you some of the pros and cons and my story and how I got to where I am. I heard that a lot of you guys are very active on Facebook, doing lots of Facebook Lives. So I want to tell you that everything that I'm teaching you today is not to replace what you're doing, it's to enhance what you're doing. Someone that I met recently was hearing about our strategy and they're like, I don't know about that. Like, I don't want to switch platforms. It's not about switching platforms. It's about enhancing what you're doing. Because what happens when you post something on Facebook or Instagram or even your Instagram stories or those Facebook Lives, what happens to them? How long do they last? Depending on how engaging they are. Yeah, a couple days, sometimes even hours, it goes meow, and then just kind of gets lost in the algorithm. But the amazing thing is that with YouTube, it's the exact opposite. It snowballs and you're able to build momentum and see that content last. You have longevity with it. And do you know why that is because YouTube is not a social media platform. It is a search engine. So guys, I'm going to really hammer that in your head today, that YouTube is a search engine, not just a social media platform. Because when you understand that and can utilize YouTube as a search engine that's how you're going to be able to have that longevity with your impact and your profit. And I also want to talk with you today about creating content that's impact driven and profit focused. Because I get a lot of people that come to me and they'll say, oh, I'm going to do this content multiplier formula. And I understand it. And that's so great. I love Peng Joon, if you've ever followed him and his platform and what he teaches. But what I also want to add to that is that you don't just want to create content for the sake of content, that we don't want to compete with the mundane and mediocre messaging and just be adding to the noise and not making an impact. We don't want you making noise without making the impact first. Everything you create is impact driven and profit focused. Okay, so that's the foundation of everything that we are doing. So I want to talk with you about how to generate leads from YouTube, how to beat the noisemakers, the egos, the influencers of today, and show you how to get that message heard on a massive scale, how to ethically steal traffic from the talking heads and change the lives that you're meant to change. Does that sound good to you? Because how many of you have been scrolling through Instagram or Facebook and you see some influencer who will allow them some grace and keep them unnamed, but you see that they have like all these comments and people like raving on their comments and they're like, oh, I love this person and I want that course. And you look at that and you're like, my message is better than that. My content is better than that. I'm smarter than them, or at least better looking. So how do I get this kind of content? Like, how do I get this reaction to my content? Because the way that I used to do it was I would spend one entire day to film one video. And that's a lot of time. I have a lot of things to do. I have a business, I have a family, like I want to be able to live my life. But if you're spending an entire day filming one video and then you post it and like it doesn't go viral, that you just spent all that time for nothing, that feels pretty defeating. And then so a lot of people think, well, what I'm going to do next is I'll just do Facebook Live and pray that someone other than my mom shows up. Or I'm going to just put out a ton of content on YouTube and dominate, but you just become king of the crickets. And so the problem with thinking I'll just keep doing Facebook Live and pray is that you just keep adding to the noise, which is exactly what we don't want to do. We're creating content for the sake of content and competing with the other mundane and mediocre messaging. And that's not what we want to do, because you deserve better and your audience also needs it, right? We don't want anyone other than our mom showing up. Wayne and I were talking about that once on a Facebook Live, which I want to tell you, the Facebook Lives are still great. I still do them. That's how you nurture your audience. But you have the foundation of the lead generating videos as well. And then driving people to that foundation too. So Wayne and I were on, Wayne is my husband. If you saw him, if you were here at the beginning, he came in and said hi. We were talking about this exact strategy and why Facebook Live and pray is not the best strategy, and having no strategy is kind of a strategy, and we all do it and we all fail at it. So we're talking about this, and then Wayne's mom showed up on our Facebook Live and we were like, oh, thanks for adding to the point here, Mom, thank you. We did have some other people, so at least we were able to talk with other people other than my husband's mom. I used to film one video in one day and I'd post it on YouTube and hope that like something would come of it, and absolutely nothing came of it. And so I'd go next weekend and think, okay, Sunday, filming day, I'm gonna film another video, and this one's gonna be great. Maybe I just need to like have better lighting or whatever. And again, post it, and crickets. I still wasn't famous. I still didn't have people knocking on my door wanting to work with me, and only had a few views. So then what did I do? I looked at the influencers, the noisemakers, the people who had tons of raving fans and followers and comments and all the jazz, and thought, okay, what are they doing that I need to do? And so I watched and I looked at their flash in the pan, kind of exciting, look at me, I'm on a Lambo and I'm on the beach with my laptop with no internet, and then thought, okay, how do I compete with this? And so what I did was the exact opposite. I created a method that doesn't compete with a whole bunch of views from Siberia or the Middle East, and doesn't boil down to spam links or emojis in your comments. You guys get that? Like, we want something more than that. We want the people that are commenting that are like, this changed my life. This is everything that I needed to hear. And actually getting people that are impacted and then want to follow you and become part of the movement. So that's my biggest thing, is when people say, like, let's just create a whole bunch of content, what's the point of that? Unless it's creating the impact and the profit that we want to do. Is this going to, this is like going to marketing church. Woo, can I get an amen?